We have to load game, so we can just skip the opening cutscene. But then not loading an actual game. This game shouldn't be too bad. I know pretty much every level really well. I've been in this game quite a number of times, so this will probably be one of two Crash games that I'll get through just really quickly, really easily. The other being Huge Adventure on Game Boy Advance. It's when we get to some of the Crash games I'm not as familiar with that... Alright. Game audio's too low. Okay. Maybe that's good, but... Yeah, other Crash games I'm not as familiar with may not be quite as quick, but most of them should still be really short. Crash 3, for sure, will be pretty short. I could probably do Crash 2 pretty well. I don't know about Crash 1, though. I should be able to get through Twinsanity just fine. This game shouldn't be too bad. I think only level I could really say I'd be dreading would be Coral Canyon. That's just because that level's horrible. There's never a time when I'm looking forward to playing Coral Canyon. Whether it's 100% or just normally beating the game. And at least I'm playing on the Xbox version, so I get good loads and good frame rate. That's definitely going to make this faster. I don't know how long this would be with long load times. It definitely would be a bit longer. Alright, I was supposed to land further down, I think, so I could get better momentum for up that hill. Oh, I went the slow way. I don't know why. Did I already... Okay. I already got the crystal. I know there are levels in quite a few Crash games where you can just straight up not grab the crystal, and then you obviously can't. Like I said, don't think you can fight the final boss if you don't grab all the crystals. And I know specifically Huge Adventure has a level that's pretty easy to miss a crystal. And then I actually found in the final level of this game, specifically in this version, and maybe also the PS2 version, but not in the GameCube version, it's pretty easy to miss the final crystal in that level because it's see-through and it kind of blends in. But in the GameCube version, it doesn't, because a lot of the graphic effects in this game aren't quite as good in the GameCube version. So like anything that's supposed to be like transparent in this game would be pretty much solid colored in the GameCube version. I'm pretty sure these more... Well, actually, I don't know. It's always felt like the more risky paths with the nitros on them are the faster routes. But I actually don't know if that's true. Doesn't really matter, though, because I'm not going for all the boxes anyway, so either path is fine. As long as I don't die, but I got 2 Akuakus, so won't be a problem at all. Okay, I actually do want the checkpoint, though. Also know there are some strats for the first boss to beat him pretty quickly, but I gotta be honest, I most likely don't remember what those strats even are. I maybe have a vague concept of what they are, but I don't think I'll be able to do them. I was never consistent at doing them in the first place, so being able to do it without even looking into how to do it for so long, or having even attempted it for so long, I'm definitely just not gonna be able to do it. That is one thing, since I am playing on the Xbox version, I won't be able to cheese the final boss. Oh yeah, definitely that was the wrong way. Yeah, I don't know if it's in the PS2 version, but in the GameCube version you can cheese the final boss. Because there's a piece of collision you can stand on to where you just don't take damage from any of his attacks. But I'm pretty sure you can't do that in this version of the game. So it's kind of the only thing that'll be worse about the Xbox version, but it's really only relevant if I were to die on the final boss. Because if I don't die on him, then it was the same length. Because, with the exception of, I think, well, I guess this game maybe more so, maybe not more so in other Crash games, but compared to what I usually think of Crash bosses, where a lot of times they are just kind of wait until they're vulnerable, then attack. Which is true for some of the bosses in this game, but there are still bosses like this one and the second one where you do have to do something to actually beat them. And you're not just dodging attacks until that time. Which I guess it's really... Boss 1, 2, and 3 are like that, where you don't have to...
Cortex! When are you and that super weapon of yours going to put an end to that interfering Bandicoot? I'm beginning to
Or you're actually having to do something to actually beat the boss instead of just dodging attacks until he's vulnerable. But then boss 4 and 5 is just dodge attacks so he's vulnerable. But yeah, it's already 1/5 of the way done with the game. There are 5 warps, and that's warp 1 done. I don't think any of the later warps are really going to be that much longer. Unless there's just a level I get stuck on for a while. But other than, like, maybe Coral Canyon, I don't really see that being an issue. I don't know. I don't know what level I would get stuck on. Right, I do want that checkpoint. That's not just a normal box, that is a checkpoint. Oh boy, first water level. Luckily, there's only 3. And 2 of them are in Warp 2. I never understood that. Why I have 2 water levels in the same warp. So spreading them out more. But at least we get 2 of them out of the way earlier. But unfortunately, the worst one is the last one. So, but at least we get. I think we get the triple spin before the last one, which will make that one a bit easier. But really, it's a submarine part that's really awful about these levels. It is not the normal swimming parts. The normal swimming parts are fine for the most part, outside of like fish that you would never be able to see that are coming or are just really hard to dodge. But it's at least not as bad as some other water levels in some games, because at least it's fairly fast paced. It's not like it's killing all your momentum and speed and just destroying the flow of the game. Or it's not an auto scroller like some water levels could be. But yeah, I don't think this level's really a problem at all. And then the second water level, the beginning's kind of tricky, but you can easily brute force the second water part. It's not too, and by brute force, I guess I don't actually mean brute force, but it's not too hard to like memorize where all the enemies are, because it's a short of a segment. I want that. Okay. But it's not that long of a section. So you can just memorize where all the enemies are. And it's not that bad because you can... Because that section's so short. And... it... only half the level is one of these underwater submarine levels, and the rest of the level is just a normal level. So it's not that hard at all to just kind of memorize how the level starts and how to beat it easily, get through it, and then just you're playing a normal level. It's really just that last water level that's so horrible. I always wondered if there'd be a way to skip this maze. It seems like it should be so easy, but I at least have never seen anyone do it. I could just have not. I may just not be up to date on speedrunning this game, which I'm probably not. Maybe there's strats and stuff I don't know, but it just seems like it should have been so easy to skip that maze. It's literally just jump over a wall, it looks like, but I don't know. Maybe I should look around at it more and just see if I can find something. I mean, I don't know. I think it's good to find skips in games, even if they've already been found. Like, obviously, I wouldn't claim that I was the first one to find it if it was already known, but I think just for the satisfaction of finding something and being able to kind of think outside the box and figure out how to do something outside of the bounds of what the game wants you to do. You know, figuring out because every level is obviously beatable, and the game intends for it to be that way. So the game is purposefully designed to have every level beatable. But doing speedrun stuff is not within the bounds of the game. The game does not expect those things to be possible. So it's not that you're figuring out how to do something the game has specifically made possible. You're trying to figure out something completely new that no one knows if it's possible. You're going completely outside of the known and trying to find something that may be possible, but also may not be. And it's one of the things I really like about glitch hunting. I should get back to glitch hunting something. If I were to glitch hunt anything, though, it's probably going to be Rough Trigger. I still want a sub 1 hour to be possible in that game. And it's fairly close. I think... Oh, I gotta get some health real bad here. This level can really be a pain, but I don't foresee getting stuck on it for a while. Because it's not that long of a level. And honestly, I think Crash Droids might actually be worse. And that's partially because, there's that random kill plane that exists for no reason, that just kills you instantly. This level, you do just get bombarded with projectiles. Especially if someone crashes into you, it's so damaging. But at least it's a really short level. But yeah, going into H2O with 2 Aku Akus, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I should remember enough of the level to get through it pretty easily. I mean, you can kind of even just get through this level by just, like, moving up and down a bit. And just shooting. That really small fish is usually the one that gets me, because I don't see it. Because it's so small and blends in with the Wumpa fruit. But yeah, that's already it for this section. Oops. No, please don't go to the warp room. But yeah, now the rest of the level is just normal. I didn't even lose a single Aku Aku, so... Actually, this might be the least bad water level. I mean, once you kind of know what to expect, it's pretty easy, but... I don't know. This is probably one of those games that... I mean, I think just about every game is... How easy it is to get through is going to be dependent on how much I've played it. So, a game I've never played before, any, like, puzzle or fight or something that's supposed to be difficult is probably going to be difficult because I've never played the game before and I don't really know much about it. A game that I've somewhat played before, or that I've played a bit before, maybe once or twice, will be easier than had I never played it before. But some stuff may still trip me up. Whereas a game that I've just played so many times and just like know very well is gonna be the easiest. And this is one of those games that I've just played so much that I know well enough to where nothing should give me an issue. Whereas I don't, had I never played the game before or I haven't just played it so much, I probably would have struggled with H2O, but because I have played this game so much, I already pretty much know that section really well. Yeah, this is definitely a boss that doesn't look nearly as cool in the GameCube version as in this version. Definitely could have done that boss faster. There's definitely a lot faster ways to beat that boss. But I don't know. I felt like playing it safe was gonna, in the long run, save me more time because I don't think I was gonna be able to get the quicker cycles as consistently.
My minions. Not only have you defeated the elemental masks, but you are still collecting those worthless crystals.
Okay, so after 3 levels in this warp, that should be the halfway point of the game. Because there's 6 levels in each warp. 5 warps total. I think I actually might say this is my favorite level in the game. No, it's actually not. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll have to play the other one to remember, but it's between this and Wuthering Heights for sure. I think just kind of as a normal level, I probably prefer the Gauntlet. But, Wuthering Heights I prefer as a time trial. I think Wuthering Heights is the most fun time trial in the game. Because it's just really quick. It's like... you can easily get below 20 seconds in the Wuthering Heights time trial. And there's actually some like cool strats you can do. is like the one part in the game where you don't want invincibility. Because if you have invincibility, then you don't bounce on the boxes, you just fall straight through them and you will die. Actually, one time, I think I have a video of it. No, maybe I don't. I think I just wish I had a video of it. But I once had a situation in this game where, in this level specifically, where I was just driving through and like entropy like pushed on me and it clipped me through the floor. That was weird. It's the only time I've ever seen it as well. I don't know if anyone else has ever seen that before or since. There's a similar situation of a glitch I've never seen before or since in Rayman 3. On the first teensy cage that you find in the game. After I broke it once, Rayman like grabbed onto the ledge, and then as soon as the cutscene ended, he just like flew out of bounds and soft locked. And it's really weird because I've never seen it since. It's not, you can't easily recreate it by just breaking the cage and then grabbing onto the ledge. It's something else, because it doesn't work if you just do that. There had to have been something else going on to make that happen. But it was just very weird that it did happen. And I didn't record a video of it because I didn't have a capture card at the time. And yeah, I've never seen anyone do it again, but I do think either on like Discord or Skype or something, I do think I remember someone talking about how they got that same glitch. So it can be done again. It is something that can be recreated, but I don't know how it works. And I mean, on the surface, obviously, it would seem like, you know, what's the point of even trying to figure out how it works if it just soft locks the game? But I don't know, it's just so weird that it happened, and it's so weird that it's so difficult to happen. It just happened randomly to me. That it's just very interesting. I would just like to know what actually happened to make it work. And I mean, it'd just be interesting to figure out. Plus, what if there's a way to use that in any level? You know, what if there is What if that's consistent? What if you can do however that glitch ended up happening? What if you can do that with other teensies in the game? And what if on other teensies in the game, if you did that with, what if it didn't soft lock and it just like skipped a bunch of the level? Because what if Rayman just flew all the way to the end of the level? So there could be value in figuring out how that works. I think it may not work in like just any level, because I do remember the other guy who had got it. It was in the same area. It was with that first teensy. But all what that could mean is it could mean that it's only possible with that first teensy. But what it could also mean is it may just be most consistent with the first teensy. Even though it's not consistent at all, if only, as far as I know at least, only 2 people have ever seen it at all. But maybe it would be most consistent with the first teensy. And that even could be... It's possible that that could be a useful thing to use maybe on other teensies in the game, or if there's a way to control your direction, because I was probably just holding neutral on the control stick and he like flew kind of forward, or maybe he was like back or something, and maybe there is a, if you're holding a different direction, maybe it'd fly in a different way and maybe get further in the level. And if that was the case, then that would be a very useful skip. But the reason no one's really looked into it is most likely because no one would really know what they're looking for. Since I didn't record a video of it when it happened. The other guy, I'm pretty sure, didn't record a video of it when it happened. So it's possible that it might be useful, but no one's bothered looking for it because no one really knows kind of how it works. No one knows really what the application of it would be. No one, if anyone was looking into it, they wouldn't really know what they're looking for. But it might be worth looking into, and I would probably be one of the best candidates to look into it. Because I'm one of the only people who have ever actually seen the glitch. One of the very few people of possibly 2, maybe more. Because it's possible maybe it happened to someone on a casual playthrough once. And we just would never know. Because maybe they just never talked about it anywhere. But since I would be one of the very few people that would actually know what to look for and could, I would know kind of what the goal is. I know what visuals I'm looking for. I know what actually happens. So I would kind of have a better idea of what to at least possibly try. To see if anything would actually work. Whereas other people may not know well enough and may be looking at it in a way that I might think is wrong. Since I have the knowledge of what it looks like to actually do it. And thinking through that there could be applications for it if you can consistently do it with other teensies, or if you can change your momentum. Other people might just think it's just a random soft lock. But I think it's possible, depending on how it actually works, that it may lead to other skips. And so I think I actually should look into it and see if it's possible. to recreate and see how it works. Because there's one thing I learned from doing a lot of rough trigger runs. It's that, or from glitch hunting rough trigger, it's that skips that seem like they might be worthless initially may actually be useful to look into. Because in level 7 in rough trigger, the levels basically split up into 5 different sections. And initially what we would do is there was a skip for the first section. You would just skip that. The second section, there wasn't a skip found. So you would not skip the second section. You would do it that intentionally. Or the intended way. Then you could skip the third section. And you could skip the fourth section. And you could skip the fifth section. But then later, I found a way to skip the first 3 sections with one skip. So you were just going out of bounds and you were going around all 3 sections rather than going through all of them. And so it may have seemed worthless to look into. You gotta be kidding me. Come on. This is what I don't like about the bosses in this game. You die once, you gotta start all the way over. But it may seem worthless to try and find a way to skip that second section. Because we already have a way to skip all 3 of the sections. What would be the point of finding a way to skip the second section? But I still wanted to find it because that was the initial goal, was to find a way to skip the second section. So I still just wanted to know, is it possible? And when I did finally find a way that, yeah, you can skip that second section, I actually found that it was actually not only possible to skip the second section by going through it, but it was also faster to do all the individual skips for the first 3 sections rather than going around. Because when the strat to go around, you have to kill some enemies first, or else they can destroy the thing you need to get around. And you are going a longer route to go around all of them than you would be going through all of them. It's a much shorter route to go through all the different sections, to go straight through rather than going a long route around. So even though it would have probably seemed worthless to find a way to skip the second section because we already had a way, it actually ended up being faster to find that other way. But really, I wouldn't have thought that would be the case. I would have thought we already had a skip, so why bother looking for it? The only reason I looked into it is because I was just curious if it was possible. And because of that, I ended up with a faster way to do level 7 than I had before. Yeah, all these, I've had some ideas for skips and stuff just from playing these games that I should probably just look into them. You know, maybe I find something, maybe I don't, but it would be interesting. I think the things I've come up with to look into so far is in Pac-Man World 3 to see if there's a way, an alternate way of doing puzzle skip. And in this game, see if you can skip the maze in Bonsai Bonsai. I didn't even play Rayman 3 yet, but I want to look into that teensy thing. Yeah, I still want to look into rough trigger stuff as well, because there's just a... I want a sub 110 to be possible. Or no, I think sub 110 might already be possible. I want a sub 1 hour to be possible. I think at best, unrealistically, but at best, you're probably looking at like a 107 as like a best possible time in rough trigger. Maybe even all the way down to like a 105, but definitely not a sub 1 hour yet. And definitely not a sub 1 hour realistically. But sub 1 hour, if there's just a way to skip the entirety of the last true level, that's sub 1 right there. That's a 16-minute level. If you can beat that level, even if it takes like 6 minutes to do, you know, bringing all that time down, that makes sub 1 hour possible. This is probably a contender for my least favorite level in the game, Droid Void. It's just so long at the beginning. But I don't know if I would say it's definitely my least favorite level, because Coral Canyon obviously has to be up there as well. Alright, well, there's the one thing that could make part of this level faster, but I don't know. I don't know why it's so slow to climb like this in this game. Because I think it's a lot faster in Crash 3, and maybe even in Crash 2. Especially with Aku Aku, it's way faster in Crash 2. But I just don't know why they made it so slow. At least you can do that. That's kind of an interesting thing, that invincibility frames, for whatever reason, do protect you from bottomless pits. I don't think I've ever seen a game that does that, where invincibility protects you from a bottomless pit. I think bottomless pits usually work a bit differently. Probably don't need to destroy these, but I will. Alright, Driftwood actually isn't as bad as I was thinking. It's just that beginning that's so slow that I don't like. Yeah, Coral Canyon definitely is the worst level to me, because the whole level's bad. Whereas this is just a slow beginning that I don't like. I will have to see about Great Balls of Fire, though. I may not like that level too much either. Please tell me I got a checkpoint. Yeah, okay. I knew there had to have been a checkpoint there. This game is pretty good about checkpoints. And that's the end of the level. Alright, yeah, that level's not bad at all. Ah, great crash droids. So this is, I would probably say this is honestly my least favorite warp in the game. Because Droid Void, I don't like the beginning. And then Crash Droids I don't like. I would say it's my least favorite flying level. Because even though that sinking feeling, you can just get destroyed by projectiles really easily. The things aren't too hard to do, or they don't take too long to destroy. Whereas this game, you can still just get destroyed easily. And sometimes it's just really annoying to try and hit these things. Plus there's the random death plane that just kills you for no reason. And then I believe after this is Coral Canyon. Although the last level of this warp is Weathering Heights, which is contender for my favorite level. So, I don't know. So it's possible that this warp has both my favorite level and my least favorite level. I did realize though there is something easy you can do to make this level not as bad, which I'll only do if I die. I don't know, I probably won't if I die actually. Really what makes this level so bad is the time trial. If you were going for 100%, or especially if you were going for all platinum relics, which I have done. I've gotten every platinum relic in this game before. But the time trial is really what's bad because no checkpoints. But there are checkpoints if you're just playing it normally. So it's not too bad. But just if I was really struggling on it, what I would do is I would go back to the gauntlet and I would start the time trial. And then I would as fast as I can, grab the first Aku Aku, and then restart the time trial, because you keep your Aku Akus when you enter a time trial in this game, unlike Crash 3. And then I would get another Aku Aku. Okay, that was actually stupid. The collision being that way. That's so much progress lost. That's actually really dumb. Especially because obviously if there are things falling from the ceiling, what you're going to want to do is stay closer to the ground. It's really dumb that they would have projectiles in the sky. That obviously you're going to do some... And then also have it to where you're screwed if you do the thing that everyone's going to do to avoid that obstacle. But yeah, if you can grind for 2 Aku Akus on the Gauntlet, most easily on the Gauntlet, and I think most quickly on the Gauntlet as well. Wuthering Heights is also pretty quick to do it on. Oh, but they started giving me Aku Akus, so that's good. But yeah, so you just grind for 2 Aku Akus, and then you would just start the level with 2 Aku Akus. And that'd be a... Honestly, I would definitely do that if I were doing the time trial. I wouldn't attempt the time trial without 2 Aku Akus. I must have destroyed the other 2 bombs, but this is one thing I really don't like about this level as well. Is that as soon as you get to the swimming part, there's still no checkpoint. The checkpoint's all the way over here, so you have to go through all those nitros. Just to be able to get the next checkpoint. Now, that's another thing that I really don't like about this level is checkpoint. For us, dumb this level is, the checkpoints are very spread out. But once you get past that next checkpoint and you're just in the swimming part, since you have the triple spin, there's not really a whole lot other than like mines that are even able to hit you while you're also spinning, so you can just keep constantly spinning. And then other than mines and nitros, there's nothing really that'll damage you. So you can just barrel through everything pretty much. It's really just the first submarine part that's just really awful about the level. And especially if you don't know the level very well. It is possible to just slide under those fan blades without taking damage. And you can also just do this again. Which, if I were doing a time trial, I would have grinded for 2 Aku Akus to start, and then I would have skipped this other gap as well. The only thing that's pretty annoying about this level as a time trial are these fire cycles up ahead. But since I'm not going for a PB in a time trial, I don't really have to worry about trying to beat the cycles. And I guess I'll wait for these cycles as well, but in time trial, you would be trying to just slide under the blades. But that's partially because I think some of those nitros would be time boxes. So you could just slide into them without needing an Aku Aku. This boss can be kind of annoying at times, so I probably will play it rather safe. I mean, because the boss fight itself isn't like super hard, but obviously it's annoying if you were to die and have to restart the whole thing. And this hand laser can just drain your health so much, so I'm not going to do the super risky strats of, trying to perfectly go beside it, but I might spend a bit longer in this fight than technically I need to, but I'd rather not die. I forgot the bazooka was actually the last upgrade. I was thinking it was the first one, but the first one's actually the sneak. Lets you walk on nitros. I don't think many of these levels are too terribly long, but I guess some of them are a bit long. Hopefully I can remember how to do the strats at the end of this level. Oh no, I might need to purposefully get 2 Aku Akus for Crepe Balls of Fire. Because I think there's some strats you can do with Aku Akus there as well. Ah. I guess I can't do some of these strats. I forgot this was the part that had the bigger strats. I was thinking just the ones at the end of the level. I was never too good at these. The ones at this part anyway. Actually, I don't think you need an Aku Aku to skip that part. No, actually, I don't think you can use Aku Akus at this part, because I think the water will still kill you. I think they're just strats to where you can jump over those gaps without having to grab onto the rail, which just goes to show how slow climbing on the rail is. If it's preferred and easier and fast, well, not easier, but faster to just try and jump over the gaps than to do what you're intended to do. Yeah, fortunately, I don't have any Aku Akus to do some of the strats here. Or, well, maybe I can, actually, because there's one over there. Because you can't just jump around this gap. Dang it. I was supposed to keep that, but... you may not even need an Aku Aku to cross this gap if you have, if you can just get enough distance.
Bring it.
I forgot you're supposed to go in the middle. Well, I actually did remember, but I just remembered too late. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I remember how to do the maze at the end of this level, so I'm not going to have to worry too much about that. And just skip all those cycles by just going over the pushy things. Are you supposed to go up, or can you... No, you just stick over here. Yeah. I think maybe you could go up, but you don't have to. I think Great Balls of Fire could be an issue. Cortex Vortex gives me no problem at all. It's a very short, very easy level. And the final boss could be an issue as well. Depends on how many times I die and how far into the fight I die. But there's nothing really too bad left in the game. I mean, really nothing in the game has really been that bad. Even the one death on boss 3 wasn't too bad. Obviously, it could have been better. I forgot to get the Aku Akus. Oh well. And then Coral Canyon was no issue. Droid Void was no issue. Anything I could have predicted to be a problem really wasn't. I mean, I did die a lot on Coral Canyon, but they weren't too bad. It's not like I was spending 30 minutes on a 5-minute level. It's weird that the invincibility frames do give you invincibility from death planes, and you can just walk on death planes. But you still die instantly if you fall down with an Aku Aku. An Aku Aku will not save you from a death plane, which is very weird. I guess I really wouldn't have needed many Aku Akus. The only thing Aku Akus would have really done for me in this level is it just would have made the baiting part a bit faster because it could have abused the death planes. But I don't think I could do that at the next part of the level because there weren't any enemies. But I think this is the annoying part of this level. Oh no, it's not. I think it's a 2D section in this robot that involving doing a bunch with cycles and enemies that are annoying to deal with. That gets annoying. I don't know if you can walk on pits with invincibility frames with the robot. Alright, that level wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. There's been a lot of things in a lot of games so far that I've like just thought were gonna be really bad. Mostly because I, probably thought they were like the first time I played the game. And then I just get to those parts and they're not as bad as I was expecting. Like a lot of levels in this game. Go Gekka Heights in Pac-Man World 3.
Crash, you've been a knock.
Ghost Bayou in World 2. Those actually... Oh yeah, and even like Bear Hugger and Great Tiger Title Defense in Punch-Out! I was thinking was going to be... Or could have been trickier than they were. I wanted to keep that Aku Aku. The Punch-Out! Also had a situation where I was thinking something was going to be easier than it ended up being. I thought I was going to be able to do so to Popinski first try pretty easily, but no, it ended up taking me a few tries. I'll just wait for this one to go down and jump over it. I think you can just jump that corner, but I'm not gonna try it just in case. And this is the crystal that sometimes I miss. Because it's a transparent purple object on a blue background. But I got it, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, that's one of the better levels you could miss a crystal in. It's not that long, so it wouldn't have been devastating to miss it. Like, I wouldn't be super upset had I missed it. Especially not as upset as if I had missed, like, the Coral Canyon crystal or something.
Congratulations.
Yeah, if I were playing the GameCube version of this game, I could just jump on this pipe back here. And none of his attacks would hit me. I forgot they were going to do that. But since... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Wasn't it fast enough? But yeah, I don't think it's possible to cheese the fight in any way in this version of the game. And maybe there is, and maybe it's just a different spot than in the GameCube version. But really, this fight isn't even that hard of a fight. It's just the ice balls can be annoying, and the meteors can be annoying. But like this is easy, right? It's completely telegraphed where it's going to come from. But then this, it's like I could just accidentally run into one. This I could accidentally run into one, or one could bounce in a way I'm not expecting. And really, the only like super super difficult part, or at least the only super scary part of this fight, is when the meteors start coming while there's still ice. Because then that's just two obstacles you have to dodge. But then even this part isn't that hard. Because you just have to stand in the middle of two of the things, and you're guaranteed to be safe. See, then this is pretty scary. Yeah, that's it's really just these meteors that are really the only annoying part of the fight. And then again, being on the final phase of the fight and then just dying and well, restart the whole fight is very annoying. Especially because there's like no way to speed up the fight. You're just having to do the fight. You're just waiting most of the fight, really. I mean, sure, you're dodging attacks, but there's nothing I can do to influence how long this is going to take. I do wonder, though, how are the meteors calculated? Do they fall randomly? Do they have set spawns that are consistent every time you do it? Where if you stood in a place where they don't fall, are you guaranteed never to be hit by them? Or does it try and follow you? Like, does it try and predict where you're gonna be? And that's where it hits? I don't know. Because it seems like the fire is specifically trying to go where I am. Which could imply that that's what the rocks are doing as well. If that one went to a different area. But yeah. That's it for Wrath of Cortex. About an hour and a half. Wasn't too long. That puts total games beaten up to 7. And that makes 5 beaten today. Because finished World 3, the 3 arrangement games, and then Wrath of Cortex. Yeah. Definitely the arrangement games were a lot shorter than I expected. I expected both Galaga and Dig Dug arrangement to be a bit longer. But, yeah. Next time I'll have to see about getting some other shorter games set up to where I can easily do them. I Oh no, my plan was to just go through as many Xbox games as possible, but I actually don't think that's going to be the best thing to do. I think if I want to make sure that I am able to get as many games done in the year as possible, I do think I need to prioritize the shortest games first. And I haven't really been doing that. Most of the games I've been doing so far have been an hour and a half. World 3 was like 3.5 hours. But there are a lot of under an hour games. And, well, yeah, there are just a lot of under an hour games that I should be prioritizing first. And so I think those are going to be the next games to prioritize. And there's quite a few of those. Again, there's 4 more arrangement games, all of which should be under an hour or maybe a bit over an hour. But at least Pac-Man Arrangement, the second Pac-Man Arrangement, is really short. Super Mario Land, Kirby's Dream Land are both extremely short. There's a lot of Mario games that are really short. There are a lot of Kirby games that are really short. There's more Pac-Man games that are really short. Other Crash Bandicoot games, I could probably do Huge Adventure in under an hour. So that would be definitely a game to look for. There's some really short Sonic games. Mega Man has some really short games. I don't know if I can do any Mega Man game in under an hour, but there's something I could do maybe around an hour, maybe a little over an hour. So there are a lot of really short games. And then Puyo Puyo games is just going to be a lot of those because Puyo Puyo games generally take around an hour and they're not too long to do. And yeah, any just falling block puzzle game like that has a way you can beat it. Like all the Puyo Puyo games, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo should be good to do as well. So I think that's going to be priority from now on, is going to be start with the shortest games. So I will have to get things set up to be able to do those where I'm not having to set up on stream. Yeah, but that's going to be it for today. 7 games beaten in 2 days. There are still 363 days left to go. So this is pretty good pace. This is good pace. Definitely 400 games at this rate. 100 games will be beaten easily. 200 games should be pretty easy. This is even on pace for 365, which would be averaging 1 game a day. But we'll have to see. It depends on how many really short games I can do, how many really short games there are. We'll see.